keep doing things, because if you sit idle when you retire, you will die quicker. What is relationships in the context of networking or business? The snarky answer, which is absolutely the wrong answer, is, oh, I got your phone number and your email address. Now I can pound on you until you buy. That ain't how it works. The right answer is that relationships are all about getting to know people as humans, getting to know how they tick, getting to know what excites them, getting to know what's important to them. And too often in our fast-paced business development roles, we forget to do that. And then we wonder why they ghost us. We wonder why they don't want to talk with us. We wonder why, they're not even interested in hearing about our business.
Hello there, and welcome to Skyman and the Bug. I'm the Bug, and that is
the Skyman.
We are here to build relationships, technology, and work on the many wonders of being a business owner and a nutcase. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to you listening to us, laughing with us, and taking the journey with us as we build businesses and relationships. Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Skyman and the Bug. My name is Nike Roach, and I, of course, am the Bug. I hope you figured that out. I know you did, because you're awesome. Thank you very much. And Skyman is Josh Schuminsky, who is my partner in crime and partner in business. And sometimes he hikes, but he always whines. So we're thankful that we're thankful to be here for another episode where we talk with business innovators and traditionalists, but also those who are communication, how to build relationships. And the person that we invited today, I'm not going to say he's a legend because he ain't old enough to be a legend yet.
No, he's pretty old.
No, he's not old enough. He's not old enough. He
Count the rings.
Okay, you may be. I'm trying to lift you up, man, and say you're not old.
I mean, look at the name he has on the podcast, Boppy. I mean, come on, it says it all.
Yeah, you got a point. You got a point there. Teddy Burriss, and those of you who have spent time in the podcast space, you probably will recognize his name. He used to host a podcast with his other partner in crime, Andy Wooden, but they have since gone into other crazy adventures. But today, if you've done anything on LinkedIn, chances are you either got a tap on the wrist to say don't do that anymore, or some encouragement on how to effectively build your LinkedIn products and processes, but how to also build relationship that is not one-sided. And I think Teddy was the one that taught me that a mutually beneficial relationship on LinkedIn is golden versus those self-serving ones. So Teddy, the master of the hour, thank you for being here.
Hey, man, thanks for inviting me to get me out of the sawdust for a few minutes and put on a big boy shirt and show up and have a conversation.
Where's the Santa suit?
Well, there's not enough money for that. At least I don't believe anybody has enough money for that.
What, Teddy Bear? And I'm going to call you that because that's, anyway, your wife probably call you something else, but we're not going to go there. What is a relationship starts out with? Let me start that with it, because tell us just real quickly who you are, because I've kind of did it in the preamble, and then tag us into what does a relationship look like from the beginning and why people screw it up so many times.
Lordy, I gotta take my shoes off and put my feet up for half an hour or so. So
as long as your corns don't show, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
Does Bum allow you to take your shoes off?
Yeah. Well, she's downstairs in her office. I can do whatever I want in my office, and you listen to those words. That's fact. Yes, ma'am. All right. So for those who don't know me, the world has known me for the longest time as a LinkedIn strategist, trainer, and coach. I've had the pleasure of doing that full time since about 2010. Over the last 3 years, I've been downsizing that business so I can go start doing something else or a bunch of other things. And one is I'm starting a new business where I visit senior citizens where they hang out. It's called Techno, K-N-O-W, Techno for Seniors. I help senior citizens overcome the risks and the fears of using technology. And the way I do it is by bringing knowledge that I acquire in lots of different ways, because I don't have it to begin with. And I sit with people and I absolutely just have conversations with them about different topics. And it's way more fun than lecturing and way more fun than PowerPoint slides and all that kind of garbage. So I'm building that business I'm referring to it as my retirement gig.
I don't
And,
even know what retirement looks like for you.
I don't either, man. 'Cause I'm
And
starting,
and
as
and
well,
and we had a dear friend passed away, and I still didn't know what retirement looked like for him because I swear that guy was still working until he was, like, ready to go. Bill
yeah,
Porter,
yeah,
who is epic, teacher, mentor, friend, laughaholic.
yep.
But yeah, so yeah, retirement for Bill was I don't know what that is, but for you, I still don't know what that looks like.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to strap me in a wheelchair and say I can't get up for me to stop doing what I like to do, which is having conversations with people, which is why I'm starting that new business. In that, because I can't have enough conversations sitting in this chair. And by the way, part of my whole retirement scheme is wrapped around one very critical aspect: get out of this damn chair.
Mm.
I mean, it's a huge part of the whole process. So I now volunteer at Habitat for Humanity at least one day a week. I do techno for seniors at least 1 day or 2 days a week. I go down in the workshop that I've created by kicking my wife out of the garage and buying all this woodworking tool. I make snarky signs, and all of that is, just to be able to go keep doing things. Because if you sit idle when you retire, you will die quicker. So
So, Teddy, you're the OG of business relationships. I mean, the three of us wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for you. Your advice you gave me ages ago, is what helped speared Solutions Afoot. So thank you for that, as
yeah,
always.
yeah. Well, so to answer Nikkei's question, what is relationships in the context of networking or business? The snarky answer, which is absolutely the wrong answer, is, oh, I got your phone number and your email address. Now I can pound on you until you buy. That ain't how it works. The right answer is that relationships are all about getting to know people as humans, getting to know how they tick, getting to know what excites them, getting to know what's important to them. And too often in our fast pace business development roles, we forget to do that. And then we wonder why they ghost us. We wonder why they don't want to talk with us. We wonder why, they're not even interested in hearing about our business. Because what's that old quote? And we all have heard it. People uh, care. What the people care when they know that you care. People care about what you. I'm gonna screw it up. There's a quote that says, "People don't give a crap about you until they know you care about them."
I think that's a better way of saying that quote because it's yours.
Yeah, yeah. And so I just decided a long time ago, 2005, I took my very first sales job. The dude told me to grip and grin my way through every networking event, collect as many business cards as I could collect, and call them and email them until they buy. There's actually one guy, I will not tell you his name, Alan, H last name. He told me to call that guy every freaking week. And if I didn't have an appointment with him, he said, why haven't you got an appointment with him? I said, the dude's not returning my calls. The dude who hired me, and I won't tell you his name, you can go figure it out. He said he gave me a box of 500 business cards. Okay, Josh, this is absolutely true. I am not making this up. He gave me a box of 500 business cards, and he said, start handing them out. And I was going to be like that one industry that every time you see one of those people in that industry, they give you 2 or 3. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. But I gave out because he told me to, and I didn't know any better. I gave out 500 business cards in less than a month. I came back to him once and I said, dude, I'm out of business card. Now, I swear this might have been my imagination, but I think he peed his pants with happiness. No, now, here's the rest of the story. I didn't get any business out of handing out my business cards for people to stack them up on their desk. And I figured right then and there, this is not how I want to do this. And by the way, I knew that it was not how I wanted to do it. I knew that because I'd study a bunch of dead people. Ralph Waldo Emerson, Zig Ziglar, Norman Vincent Peale, all those really cool dead people. And I knew that was not the way that I wanted to sell. So I started figuring out another way for Teddy to do it. And I'm not saying I knocked it out of the park. I didn't become filthy, freaking rich, whatever that means, but I became successful. I built a decent book of business. I built a decent pipeline. And I'd never had a commission check before. Never. I was a corporate boy, you know? And so I will never forget the first day he handed me a commission check, and it was like for $10. So I brought the commission check home, okay? And I showed it to my wife and I said, what do you want? What should I do with these commission checks? She goes, oh, you can keep those. The base is all we really need to have. I'm like, okay. Damn, that was a mistake on her part. Big mistake on her part. Because as time went on, I'm only sharing the number part. As time went on, the commission checks proved that my style of building relationships, networking, getting to know people, having conversations was the foundation of me building a book of business that was worthy of having. And by the way,
I wanted to.
one more piece, Nick.
Okay.
It's not just the book of business.
No.
That's not the value. The value were the humans that I made real connections with. That's the value, because even today, as I go playing in a whole nother sandbox, the people that I met 20 freaking years ago are helping me. That's networking for mutual benefit.
That is definitely so. Wow.
Can you cut any of that out if I said something I shouldn't ought to said?
No, you didn't say anybody's name that we should escape or hope. No, we don't cut anything out. It's all okay.
That part about bum and you might want to cut out.
Nah, we're gonna keep that
She
in.
knows that.
We're gonna keep that so we can keep that incriminating evidence. When we find his body in the backyard, we'll know why. It was interesting because on LinkedIn, and since you're a master on the LinkedIn space, and this is a lot of where we interact with in our healthcare or manufacturing spaces, because you're out there, you're almost like a target, and people send you these solicitations, say, hey, I want to be your financial planner. Dude, I literally got 2 of them right now who are hunting me. And I said, okay, cool. Thank you very much. And I give them a question, like, to see if they're really engaging or not hiring a third party scheduler, which is now the flavor of the month.
Hang on while I throw up.
I said these online schedulers who are in another country. I'm going to leave it at that. So I know it's not them, but I'm still a little cordial. So I say, okay, cool. Then before you know it, hey, here's my calendar leak so I can send you this 30-minute presentation, which is nothing more than a glorified PowerPoint about why awesome and why you need my retirement care and why you need my switch widget and all this stuff. And I'm saying to myself, why should I give a flip about you when you don't care about me? I think you literally just said it. And relationship is we all got, somebody who's crazy enough to attach themselves to us, who are our wives, but it didn't start with, hey, baby, let me show you a PowerPoint about why you should marry me or something like that. Am I wrong in thinking that?
So I coached a guy this morning, and his name's Daniel. Great guy, and I'll send Daniel this video when we get done, and I will thank him for our conversation we had this morning. And he's using LinkedIn and Sales Navigator, and he wants to look at his LinkedIn network and his first level connections, and he wants to find, of his first level connections, who are in these industries and also in these regions, and his first level connection in this industry, in these regions. I'm like, dude, I'll show you how to do this. This will be a cool program, man. So I helped him figure out how to do Sales Navigator search and build that list, and then results, and then take those people and put them in a list. Okay. He wants to look at his LinkedIn network and figure out who are the humans that are important to him. Now there's nothing wrong with that. That is absolutely business 101. Who's important to me? Okay. And then I said, okay, great. What are you going to do with this list? And this guy's he's known me for years. I've coached him for years. He goes, I know what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to send him an email or a LinkedIn message or a phone call and say, buy my widget. He said, I'm just going to start paying attention to them. And when they do something or say something on LinkedIn, I'm going to engage with them. I'm going to say hi. I'm going to thank them for the content. And where relevant and appropriate, which is what I teach him and I teach us, pay attention to when you may have have permission. Pay attention to when you may have permission through LinkedIn, etc., to ask that person, would you be willing to have a conversation?
So I've learned the biggest power of LinkedIn is the power of observation and listening. Um, you know, I've done some Boolean searches and stuff like that, and I found some connections and stuff like that. But I watched them first, and I built a relationship with them. Eventually, hopefully, they trusted me enough to get their business.
But Josh, not give your business. Hopefully, tell me if this is what I hear you saying is. Hopefully, they trust you enough to even have a conversation with you.
Yes, but so
Then you move to the business.
right, yeah, but that conversation is part of the watching, observing, and listening.
Yeah.
And then gradually starting the conversation over maybe over Messenger or LinkedIn Connect or whatever, and building it slowly. And
I think and that is literally how the mastery. Josh is skipping over some steps because he's
He's
definitely
assuming everybody
skipping over.
else knows those.
Yeah. And I know it sounds all cryptic, but that is the secret sauce that Josh is saying, is that he's sort of saying, we go from here to here, but there's a lot of small incremental not conversation, but let's say, what you're doing. Let's touch points. You got promoted. You said you went to travel. You got this. I mean, all these different things that are there to literally give you clues to make people feel special and awesome, and not have and I hate to even borrow this, salespeople who some of the newer ones who suck at this, who have this one-sided transactional kind of, and I know we, as people in sales and development, you get paid, like you said, commission to bring home the bacon. But how you bring home the bacon is the art. That's the science. That's the beauty of relationships that if I'm making it, Josh, borrow, because literally Josh did this. He did this to be able to find someone who had a problem, but he didn't discover that. That's why I said he's sort of skipping. He didn't discover that until he listened and find out if there's something there for us to talk about other than, let me sell you my widget. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and and in the context of this whole thing about humans meeting humans and paying attention and listening and sharing and engaging, look what happened. This is a long-term game. This is not, I've got 3 years of the sales in front of me. I need to make sure I knock it out of the park. It's 20 freaking years later. I've got buddies all over the world who I can reach out to and go, I need help. I can reach out to. One of them is a lady who was a banker. Her name is JJ. She was a banker in town. Well, fast forward nearly 20 years later, she connects me with senior caregivers that I need to reach out to for a project I'm working on, not for me, but for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And that wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have had that connection with her to be able to get that connection with this group that I'm now going to hire to do work for me or for my family.
So I don't know about you, Teddy, but my network means more to me than a lot of other things. It allows me to help people out other than business-wise.
Yeah.
I've taken your lead and helped people find meaningful jobs, change their lives through relationships that have been built. And I know Like's done the same, and Teddy, you're the master of that. So,
yeah. Well, one of my statements, and by the way, all of this is in a book. I don't know if you know, I wrote a book. I wrote 7 books, but the one book that is the one that's the most meaningful to me is called Networking for Mutual Benefit. It's probably 15 years old now.
Where can somebody get it, Teddy?
Amazon. My buddy at Amazon has them. But Josh, one of the things I say is that, I've got my $16 investment portfolio. I've got my house. I got my car. I got my computer. I got my watch. I got all these assets. We all have these assets, to some degree or another. Some of them are, more important to us than the other ones. I don't go anywhere without this thing, but I don't need my Yeti mic every day. But there's one asset that I have, that is, Josh said this, and I echo this, that is more important than any asset in my life, and that is my network. Because everything I've accomplished in some way or another was a result of me making a connection with someone who made me think differently,
Brother,
made me do something different.
you giving me chill bumps, because I think that is the network power is that, and Josh is going at that at the second time, because he's saying if you're moving to another country, if you will, if you're moving to another region, who are you going to tap into in that region? Or if you're going to that region, when I came to this city where I am in now, it was a mutual connection that said, hey, I'm moving to this town. I need a job. They're like, oh, okay, no worries. You worked over here. I like you. We're cool. I trust you. I will buy from you. Made a call, got me a job. I showed up for the interview, and the interview was more like formality because the job was mine. And it was like, your network is your power. It's not your physical. I mean, we think about these domiciles that we live in, and, the banks love that. But your asset is those relationships, and those strong relationships, because when stuff goes south, i.e. AI starts replacing your job, okay, you get a rift, okay, things start changing, the government, goes right or left, take your pick, doesn't really matter. Having that network and built that strong, and I'm saying it again, strong relationship, not a weak bond, but a strong bond. Like in science, a strong bond is hard to break. It takes a lot of force to break a bond in science, but a weak bond, all it needs is, I don't like you and I'm gone. So I think that's power.
Yeah. And there's another whole aspect to this asset that's critical, absolutely critical. And I think one of the lines I use is that if every day in and day out, you hang out with the same people over and over and over again, all you're going to get is the same crap every day. So go hang out with weirdos. Go meet people who are nothing like you. Meet people who do things way different than you. Go meet. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to say it wrong. Oh, I'm going to say it. There's a word for people who replace strings on instruments. Okay, I can't remember the word.
Tuners.
Say it again.
Tuners.
No, close. But so go meet people who have a business doing something that you've never imagined before. Go meet people who, do things that you've never considered doing. I really didn't think about, when I retire, I'm going to start a business where I go visit senior citizens where they hang out. I didn't have that idea. That idea came from a friend of mine who works in the senior services industry. And we're talking one day, and I'm like, wow, I can see a need now. It would never have happened if all I did was hang out with a bunch of geek IT guys, which is, that's where I came from, dude. I spent 30 years in the IT industry, but it wasn't until I started hanging out with marketing people, social media people, content creators, that I decided, wow, here's new ideas. So my point is, this asset, it needs to be weird. If it's just like you, that ain't worth crap. Or isn't worth as much.
No, if give us, and I know we don't have that much time because we can be on here forever, but I know, because all of us, we interact in the communication space, in the relationship building. So we're just kind of gelling on each other right now. But are there things that people can do right now that is top of mind? Here's the first thing you need to do when you open up your LinkedIn tomorrow, today, and whenever you do. Here's the first thing I want you to do, and I want you to do it every single day. What are some of the things that they can do that they can just implement today, as opposed to, well, I'll get around when I get older kind of stuff?
Props. I need props. So I went and met a guy, and it was a good friend of mine. I went into his office, and he had stacks of these things on his desk.
Those are
and
what?
I'm like,
business cards?
Business cards, yeah. And I said, what are those? He said, they're business cards. I said, do you know those people? Maybe. I'm like, then those business cards aren't worth crap. The same thing on LinkedIn. Let's bring it just to LinkedIn. Look at your LinkedIn network and ask yourself this question. Who am I connected to that may be important to me or my business, or whom may be of interest to me in some other way? Doesn't need to be just business. And ask yourself this question. When's the last time you talked to that person? Whether it's an LinkedIn message, an email, a text message, a phone call, whatever, a postcard or whatever. I guarantee you that most people, if they look at their LinkedIn network, all they are is a pile of digital business cards and nothing more. So my suggestion to everyone would be, don't let that happen. If it is happening, fix it. So every day, hey, reach out to 2 people you haven't talked to. Now, focus on people who are relevant. You don't, but don't only make it that group. I say it this way. You should be doing outreach to have conversations every day with people who are important to you. And along the way, you should be willing to take phone calls, emails, text messages, whatever, from others who may have a need for you. That's called mutually beneficial. It's my rant, buddy.
Hey, I've been hearing your rant for a while,
Well,
and I appreciate you every time I hear it.
Well, Brother Teddy, it has been always great to at least catch up what you up to, making sawdust in the basement, grass and bum, and not becoming, pile of stones in the backyard with a shovel. Anyway, kidding. But also being able to get that you are constantly learning. I think that's a tool that I'm learning, that you are like, hey, I did IT. It's like, yeah, I'm an IT guy. You know what's really funny about you, Teddy? I didn't even know you were an IT guy. That is so strange. I have known you for all these years. I knew you had done IT sales, but I never knew that you were an IT guy because I never saw you in that vein. I saw you in so many different passionate, compassionate environments that didn't lend itself always to when somebody categorized an IT professional. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, one day I'll tell you about I wrote 3 huge business applications. I wrote an entire warehouse management system, and I wrote an entire retail point of sale for a nursery.
Damn. Okay. And one day you have to share that. And I think that's important, because that we're not just what our title says on LinkedIn, on our business card, that we're much more deeper and granular and way more dirty and fun.
Yeah.
With that, thank you all for being here on another episode, another podcast of Skyman and the Bug Skyman.
Yes.
So you're supposed to jump in right there. We'll see you next time in another show. Bye for now.
Take care, folks.
You've been listening to
The Skyman
and the Bug. We appreciate you being here. Join us again for another episode of Skyman and the Bug. And if you have any questions, reach out to us either on LinkedIn, Facebook, and other places that you just try to find us.
Take care.
Bye.